What's up? This is Rebel Radio.
What up? What up? This is DJ Newmark.
This is Peanut Butter Wolf.
It's your boy. It's okay.
Keep checking out Rebel Radio.
Rebel Radio.
This is Rebel Radio.
We're in the place right here. Rebel Radio is going down.
Would you say Rebel Radio?
Oh, wait. Let's do it again.
Rebel Radio.
What's up, Rebels? Welcome back to Rebel Radio. It's the weekly show where I talk to the rebels that are shaping youth culture. We find out how they do it, why they do it, and what you can do to get a little piece of the pie for yourself. We're also the only show that features new music every week from our friends over at EDM.com. Check it out. We are back this week with my man Bosko. He was on the show last week. If you caught that episode, we talked about his history, coming up in hip-hop's formative years and what that meant to a young man entering the hip-hop game. We also talked about our history as client and manager. And this week, we are on the part 2 of that interview. We talk about Bosko's new tech startup, ElectroSpit, how he's about to revolutionize the Talkbox. If you're not familiar with the Talkbox, it's an instrument you might have heard on any of Roger Troutman's music, or if you listen to Chromeo, or you might have heard Bosko playing it on Kanye's new workout plan, or many E40 songs, or lots of other great records that Bosko's produced. He's going to tell us about how he's made the shift from producer to entrepreneur, some things he's learned along the way, and also his wife Maya is going to join us and talk about how they're building a business together. It's good stuff coming up on Rebel Radio right after our EDM.com track of the week.
All along, I knew all along, I knew all along.
Yeah, that was 88 MPH with All Along, our EDM.com track of the week. Now let's get into the interview with Bosko. Okay, I don't want to take your whole day asking you questions. So I'm going to keep jumping ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
So talk about ElectroSpit. I mean, that's
ElectroSpit.
Like I said at the beginning, you've always played the Talkbox. I know you played it on a lot of records. Mm-hmm. Kanye and others.
Yeah.
But creating your own technology is a huge jump. So where'd that come from?
I might bring Maya in to get in on some of this too. So I started playing the Talkbox. I always loved the Talkbox. When I won that set of turntables when I was in middle school, the song I was dancing to was More Bounce to the Ounce. And one of my neighbors used to ride us around in the 6.5 Impala when I'm in middle school, and he would take us to high school, and that's all we would listen to was that. So I always loved that sound. I started, when I got the deal with Atlantic, I bought a Talkbox. Mm-hmm. Didn't know how to use it. Papa LQ with Laquan, Kenny Kingpin now, connected me with Battlecat. Battlecat showed me how to use the Talkbox correctly, because I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I wasn't doing it right. And so after that, I started integrating it into all my production, or a lot of my production, and became known for that sound. Mm-hmm. So on a lot of E40 records, from the Element, the Surprise on, you hear lots of Talkbox. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward, Mike Karen went up the ranks at Atlantic, had signed T.I., brought me to do Talkbox on this record that Kanye West was producing. Mm-hmm. Kanye loved what I did on the Talkbox and said, hey, come out to New York, jump on my record. I didn't think anything of it.
That's the new Workout?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we did the Workout record. It was Kanye and John Legend and me all together collaborating on the record.
Amazing.
And boom, I introduced him to it just so happened that E40 was in town when I was doing that record, and I introduced Kanye to E40. So,
that's an interesting combo.
Yeah, it's They ended up doing a remix together not too long after that.
Okay.
So that obviously Kanye's record became huge, and Workout Plan was a single, and we did the Workout Plan live on the American Music Awards.
Right.
But unfortunately, the Talkbox is very cumbersome. It's got all these pieces. You got the tube and
And
the
just
Talkbox
so
and
for
the
people that
speaker.
don't know, like you have to actually put a plastic tube in your mouth.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean that seems not.
It's not. It's you know.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it works and it sounds great, but it's this. You know, you got.
But you can't understand why so few people
It's got
use it.
sound like this, and it's hard to talk. You know, so it had a lot of problems basically, and I had to lip sync, you know, and I wanted to get out there and freestyle and be going back and forth, you know, with Kanye saying his name and whatever, but I couldn't do that. I just had to dance around. And it got me thinking.
On the American Music Awards.
Yeah, on the American Music Awards when I couldn't perform. And there were some other performances I could have done with Kanye too, but I couldn't even do them at all because they didn't have time to set the Talkbox up or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, I gotta fix this. I gotta figure out like how can I make a mobile Talkbox? And you actually see me dancing on stage with my dream of a mobile Talkbox, which is just a keyboard with the tube I'm holding. It's not even connected. I had the tube in my hand. So fast forward, I continue to do, you know, a bunch of big Talkbox features, J. Cole and Limp Bizkit and Janelle Monáe and Flo Rida and blah, blah, boom, boom, boom. But the music industry was changing, and there was consolidation.
Sure.
There was piracy, you know, and it just the production fees weren't the same as they were. And I was looking for another way to like kind of reinvent my career and my business, and I found this.
You were looking for a studio.
I moved to the Bay, and I was looking for a studio, and I called Cool Nuts actually hooked me up with Chief XL from Black Alicious to help, because he said, oh, Chief, he might know. I called him. He's like, oh man. I said, do you know any good studios that I could rent? He's like, man, come use my studio. Like, well, how much you want to charge? She's like, no charge. You can just use it. Cause
I don't know if you want to publicize that.
But see,
Chief line gonna be ringing like, bruh, how come you ain't let me come through the studio?
what you got to understand is Chief with Chief XL, he in the Bay, I'm a legend. He introduces me as, this is Bosko. He's a production legend.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have a studio and someone who's like one of the producers that you've been looking up to your whole career says, can I use your studio? Then the answer is yes, anytime.
Of course.
And I wasn't really thinking like that when I asked him, and that wasn't what I was asking for, but he was really generous and allowed me to use his studio. And just so happens that at that studio, the studio was founded by David Watson, who was an ex-Google engineer who had a interest and passion for music, and his wife Vanitha founded a music accelerator, which is based on the Y Combinator model of taking startup companies and providing them with resources, money, connections, mentorship to help accelerate the growth of the company. And they asked me on the first day I went to see Chief XL Studio, Vanitha and Chief asked me if I would be a mentor to some of the artists that were going through the residency. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then they asked me about what was going on with my career. And the more I started to hear about what they were doing at the residency, which was applying startup concepts and startup techniques, Silicon Valley startup techniques to music, I'm already a technology, a forward thinker. I had been, I had done a startup company previously and raised $2.5 million for a startup in the .com era. So it was already in my mind. I was like, this is something I need to be a part of.
Yeah.
And they invited me to apply. And so that was the opportunity to take this Talkbox idea, this mobile Talkbox, and turn it into a business. So I recruited my wife. Well, first I recruited Pete Miser, who I had grown up with doing the production and part of the hip hop scene, and I had a tremendous respect for as a producer and just really, really smart. He'd done all of this licensing for like Super Bowl commercials. So he was a dope producer, a visual artist, and just a really cool, smart guy. And then I got this guy named Lance Coleman, who's a really dynamic MC and a digital strategist. He was working with my friend Brian Calhoun, doing like Facebook and digital strategy for Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne. Okay. He was like the behind the scenes guy. So we created this music group, and I needed another person, so I needed somebody to do marketing. And I've been watching Maya do, like, you know, we always have arguments about, like, not arguments, is this too strong of a word, but I'm like,
yeah, watch yourself.
Yeah, I'm getting in trouble. Debate. Yeah, debates.
Spirited debate.
I'm like, why are you always on Instagram? We're looking on Instagram, and why don't you use that power for good? And so I said, well, why don't you help us with the marketing, and so and be part of the team? And she said, yeah, well, if you don't have anybody else, I guess I'll do it. I'll throw you a bone and jump on your squad. And so we went through, we got accepted, we applied to the accelerator with a concept of a band that had a signature Talkbox that we kind of used as merch. And after going through the accelerator, we did all these workshops, one in particular which was called Futures Thinking, where you look at trends that have happened in the past 5-10 years and see how they brought you to where you are in the present, and then look at those trends and extrapolate like another 5 years in the future, and you try to place yourself and your business in the future. Love it. And so one of the trends that I had witnessed was the music studio started as this, you know, huge studio with tapes and all that. Then it moved to the desktop computer, and which I was a part of. I created the actually recorded out, so I didn't have the money to have all of the big studio stuff at the time when I was working with E40 initially. So I had Pro Tools, and we recorded the first gold album hip hop using Pro Tools. That was Element of Surprise.
No way.
Even though the streets are filthy, lights burnt out. Dope fiends dour than dinners in their mouth. Niggas are starving. Some of my niggas is having their cash. Niggas is ballin', talking they call on the grass. Living it up to the fullest, platinum color jewels and organized class. Not none of that fake ass costume jewelry that looks like grass. I'm looking out the window while you play Nintendo. You drive a Navigator, I drive a Pinto. I was there.
So I was already kind of on that path, but then the next one was the laptop. And then we saw it going in the future to the phone, where you can create your whole song on the phone. Yeah. And everybody has this music studio in your pocket. Yeah. And we started thinking, how can we be part of that revolution or support that revolution? And so instead of taking this Talkbox and just making it mobile, let's make it work with the phone. Let's think about other uses that the app can make it more, give it more functionality. And then that came together so well, we flipped the whole business. Instead of being this band with this merch of this signature Talkbox, let's just make the Talkbox the company, and the band will use the music to promote and our relationships. Yeah. And I have a mechanical engineering degree from USC, which I hadn't really been using. I had just been doing music production, but I was like a top student, dean's list, all through school. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to start using that part of my education. And the accelerator and the support that we received at Zoo Labs was amazing. And the mentors that we got in contact with, and we started building this mobile Talkbox, and it's been the ride has been amazing. Yeah.
What did you learn doing crowdfunding?
Learned a lot.
Okay.
Learned a lot about crowdfunding and you know.
I need to bring Maya in, because I'm sure that there's a lot of parts of this story.
Give us some lessons
that I've that I've missed.
No, because crowdfunding, first of all, I think it's amazing that it exists and that products can get made or ideas can get launched, right, through this outside of all the traditional funding and distribution and all that. That's amazing. I think that the flip side to that is it calls on certain skill sets that people don't necessarily have, right? And so because you've developed a great idea or a great product, doesn't necessarily mean you know how to do that one piece of it.
Right.
So so I see a lot of people, trying things and learning and making mistakes and whatever.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's similar to the idea of an artist being overnight success, how people will see this artist and not realize that there's all of this marketing and strategy that has taken place behind the scenes before you hear this song that you think is an overnight success. And it's similar with the crowdfunding. It's the campaigns that have done really well, they have a lot of thought put into them, and it's not like this thing that people think it is. It's like, oh, so and so just had an idea and they put it on Kickstarter and now it's a business. It's like, no, they had to have a business plan in place before. Oh, they should have. They should have. The ones that are successful do have.
Yeah, for sure. And even the videos, right? Like there's a certain right and wrong ways to do those videos.
Right. And before we approached the idea of doing a crowdfunding, we weren't aware that there are actual agencies that focus specifically on that. And so that's been a learning curve for us, is learning, which ones are scams. Right. What can you expect from? I mean, there's some that are known for being a scam because they back products that are actually pieces of shit. Right. You're buying into this thing that you think you're gonna get, and it's gonna do all these great things. It slices, it dices, it's whatever. You get there and it doesn't work at all. So, and then there's others who will take a percentage up front to do your marketing, and then they'll take a percentage off the back end of what you earn from Kickstarter. So then what you end up with is nothing to run your business, right? Yeah. So there's all these pitfalls that you have to be aware of when you're approaching a campaign, and you have to mostly look at it as a way to build your audience and gain more attention and be able to market to those customers after the crowdfunding and gain loyal customers from them knowing your story and knowing all of the steps that it took for you to create that product, rather than it being a one-time, one-and-done transaction. And it's like I said, it's more of a marketing piece. It's not where you start your business. It's something that you use to advertise your business and continue to grow loyal customers.
But I think it speaks to what you were talking about earlier, is being, allowing people into the story, right? And whether it's the story behind a song, right, or a product, right.
Maya has basically transformed the whole business. Like starting one of the things that I wanted to do with ElectroSpit was to talk about topics and ideas in our music that I hadn't had a chance to talk about. As you get more mature, the message that I wanted to share and ElectroSpit was about positive affirmations, using technology to technology had allowed me to achieve all of these things in life. It enhances my creativity when I make music. It helps my business deals, using reading and just learning and studying has helped my relationships. So that's the kind of ideas that I wanted to share with ElectroSpit. It is something that never existed before, and by us learning all of these techniques and doing all of this research and applying our knowledge, we were able to create something that never existed before. And the team, like building that team, was all of those different skill sets is what allowed us to create something special. And as the team goes on, right now it's Lance is doing his own thing, and Pete is doing his own thing, and they still help us out in different ways. But Maya and I are the core team right now, and on Instagram, like I was saying, behind the scenes, what we did was we went from an audience of basically 0.
100, because we had just kind of
Sure.
neglected the channel at all.
Yeah.
And then once we developed the idea, we had to go through a lot of user testing first to make sure that it was something that people wanted, and we had to do an ethnography, and we found out that people's identity is attached to music creation a lot of times, which was like eye-opening for us. So we had to find a way to connect the instrument with that ideology and integrate it into people's lives. And so one of the ways that we found to do that is like, he's teasing me about flipping through Instagram, and it's like, okay, so this is a way to connect with that audience directly, and really start to talk to them. And so we didn't have a large following. I started, growing the following, and we still didn't have a large following, but it was very targeted.
Yeah.
And so like,
that's what matters.
Yeah. So we had like, at one point, I mean, we still only have like 1,300 right now, but at one point we had like 700. And just to do a test of the product, we said, okay, here's a prototype. Who wants to be a part of the early prototype testing? And we were selling them for like $200, and when we sold 20 of them in less than 24 hours. So that's just like, a test of if you really find the right audience and give them what they want. That's part of the design thinking, right?
And that was part of Maya understanding Instagram, understanding how like what do you don't just take a cool picture, you take a picture of something that speaks to the people that you want involved in this product. We're talking to music producers. There's a whole culture around music producers, a whole culture around talkboxers. We always say that the worst insult for a talkboxer is
that's some nice auto-tune you're doing there. You really want to piss them off.
Yeah, of course.
Just knowing that and saying that on an Instagram post, then all of the talkboxers are going to connect with you, and and that's already my tribe. But Maya was like instrumental in being able to see that and deliver it to our followers and audiences, and to build that community. And
it's led to a lot of connections for our business. Like,
I'm sure.
Like that's how we linked up with Teddy Riley, was through him seeing some of the posts on Instagram and people tagging him, and who else? There's been a couple
indirectly,
different...
through Tiana Taylor, was indirectly through Instagram, which led to Chromeo.
Right. That's
P
right.
Thug.
P Thug is one of the investors in the company, and so yeah.
Wanna be by yourself and no one else, alright. Alright. Then you wanna go out, wanna scream and shout tonight.
So all of that came largely from Maya's understanding of the platform and how to craft our messages to get to.
Well, it's been a synergy, because obviously with Bosko's credibility,
it doesn't hurt.
Bosko being, a known Talkbox artist, if I had just come out of nowhere and said, start putting out these messages, people would be like, yeah, that's great, whatever. But
but I think it really speaks to the the importance of truly understanding your customer.
Yeah.
Right.
And so many companies, they make a product because they can make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either they saw one out there and they just put their own label on it, or I mean, that's how most products are made and released.
And this is not a Me Too product. This is the product that I needed to solve my problem, to be able to play the instrument that I've loved for my entire career.
And that's great, but unless you open up that story to other people, then it's just going to be your product.
Right.
Exactly.
I had to, and there was a certain period of time where I felt like I didn't want to let anybody else know the Talkbox secrets or whatever. But I had to get past that and understand that, everybody's unique. There's everybody.
Was there something you did that helped you get past that?
I'm gonna say for me, because I had the same kind of idea or feeling that he had, like, oh no, that's gonna make Bosko not special now, you know.
Yeah.
But somebody said to me, if you put an electric guitar in somebody's hands,
Yeah.
they're not automatically gonna become Jimi Hendrix, right? So
Definitely.
the art is within the artist.
That's
it's
right.
not in the instrument,
Yeah.
right? So we can give as many people, and we're hoping that there's gonna be some people that do as
And
well
Eric
as
Clapton,
Bosko, and
you
then
know.
Of course.
or whoever. Like
Van
another
Halen,
thing
there's
is,
all kinds of. There's lots of space for other.
right, because
sure.
Bosko is not Peter Frampton,
Right.
and they're both successful. Bosko's not I'm not Pete Thug from Chromeo, and you know,
Right.
vice versa. So there's room for everybody to have.
That's that maturity creeping up on you.
Yeah.
Right. That's that maturity thing, man. We needed that a little bit a while ago.
I gotta ask you some. I got a lightning round
Okay.
before
Okay.
we finish that. I gotta ask you.
Okay.
Okay, tell me one decision that changed your life forever.
Ooh.
Better be good.
Ah.
No pressure.
No pressure. Well, Marion Maya,
Okay.
which
Good answer, good
come
answer.
from which was going to the ski weekend in Whistler that year.
Nice.
So that was huge because she's been just my life has improved in so many different ways by being together with her. And besides just being in love and having fun, becoming more enlightened and being more better in touch with my emotional maturity and my health and the way that we've become business partners to build ElectroSpit. It's just been fantastic. We're just having a great time right now. So definitely big one.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't. I mean, I don't want to belabor it, but like, you know, at that time when we were working together, like I wasn't just your manager. I was managing your best friend, your girlfriend, and probably somebody else.
Yeah.
So you
in
saw
your
the
mix.
shitty relationships that he had.
Well, you know, it's interesting because like I've learned a lot today that I didn't know, even though, you know, we've known each other 25 years, and you know, and that's like part of why I like to do this, because I get to ask questions. But you know, when you're a bunch of young guys, like, you know, there's so many things you just don't talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, granted, like a lot of what we did talk about was business, but you know, personal things came up here and there, especially that, you know, I was managing him and his girlfriend, and there was
A lot of turmoil. At
sometimes you
one
would
point.
see, you know, things creep into the business,
Yeah.
or the business creeps into the personal, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, complete this sentence. I don't have talent. I have blank.
I have determination.
That's good.
I have determination.
Okay, so if I worked for you, which I did,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the answer to this question, what's something I would hear you say over and over?
Hey, over and over. Probably. Did you hear back from Def Jam?
No,
I think I remember hearing that.
Now.
Who would you be most excited to learn as a fan of your work?
Oh, ooh, probably Stevie Wonder, just because he's my favorite artist of all time. So that would be
Yeah.
really cool.
He might have a Talkbox record in him.
In the works, right?
Right?
I actually met his DJ recently.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know Stevie had a DJ.
Well, he's not his DJ, like personal DJ, but he's the DJ at his radio station and the program director. And so, you know, hopefully we will have a
That's
Stevie
cool.
Wonder ElectroSpit collaboration.
Signature.
Yeah.
That's very cool. What's your favorite city to travel to?
Ooh, man.
United States or abroad?
Just period. Miami. Love Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's so easy to get there.
It's great.
You don't have any of the hassle of like when you travel overseas, you got to deal with customs and all, and sometimes your phone doesn't work or whatever.
First worlder.
Yeah, but when you go to Miami, it's easy,
that's right.
and you're right on the beach, and there's great food and music and people. Yeah, beautiful
Love
people.
Miami.
Man, Miami's awesome.
What's the last great book you read?
Ooh.
We've been reading a lot of fourth grader books.
Yeah.
Of course.
This isn't the most recent great book, but maybe the most impactful maybe in a long time was a 4-Hour Work Week.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a little older now, but I have definitely taken to heart a lot of the techniques from that book and the ideology of eliminating unnecessary information, unnecessary tasks, trying to automate things that don't need to be done.
I think one of the most.
I want to go back and read it again because I took a lot when I read it, and then some of those things, you let them go.
Let them go.
I think one of the most important concepts for me out of that book was not having this delayed view of retirement.
Yeah.
Just thinking when I get this age, then I'll be done, and then I'm like, you want to enjoy life now.
For sure.
Enjoy life now. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
What movie have you seen the most in your life?
Probably The Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love The Matrix.
Nice.
Yeah, this the whole concept just blew my mind out of the gate. That there's this whole other world, and then I love the technology aspect. And we're only talking about the first one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, the first one.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite DJ of all time?
Man, that's the tough one. Man, that's hard. Jazzy Jeff.
Mine too.
Yeah, Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
He was there were all these DJs that I loved prior, but he was just so dope in all the records he did with the Fresh Prince and learning the transform scratch and all that. And Jazzy Jeff.
Dope. All right, so how does everybody find ElectroSpit?
So search for ElectroSpit mobile Talkbox on Kickstarter, and you can find us there. You can definitely go to electrospit.com. That's ElectroSpit.com, and you can find us that way. And Instagram is at ElectroSpit.
Okay, good.
And we'll probably have some YouTube stuff up by then, but those are the main channels.
That's exciting, man. I imagine we're going to see more Talkbox players because of this. People that
Yeah, you know what? It's a growing subculture that people are becoming more aware of. Like when we first started this, one of the jokes was like, "What are there 100 Talkboxers?
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do with this?"
Yeah, it seems very niche.
Yeah, but once we started really looking into it, there's 40,000 people following the hashtag. We recently got some software that shows the searches on Amazon. 6,500 people are searching for Talkbox Tube on Amazon every month.
Nice.
So there's definitely a growing awareness of it. We always used to call it your favorite instrument that you never heard of, because it's constantly winning Grammys. Look at this past Grammys. You got Mr. Talkbox on 24 Karat Magic. He's also that same. They sampled that for Loyalty, Kendrick Lamar and Rihanna.
My resume is real enough for 2 millenniums. A better way to make.
And then there's another reggae song that won with Talkbox on it. So it's back from the 70s all the way to now. It's been topping the charts. But if you put it in front of listeners, the actual instrument, they couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So we're changing that with this. We're putting talk boxers in front and connecting people with the sound that they already love.
That's great. I love it. Well, I'm proud of you guys doing your thing. And,
Thank you.
You know, seeing you build this together is inspirational.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Bosko on Rebel Radio. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Make sure you leave us a review on iTunes. Hit us on Twitter or Facebook at Rebel Radio Net. Check out our YouTube page at Rebel Radio Net. And most importantly, come back next week for more Rebel Radio. Peace.